Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm talking about different types of fats and fatty acids and their resources and their importance for our health. As you know, fats we get from plants and we get fats from animal. So these are two different type of fats, and we are using it continuously in most of the regions as a part of our nutrition. Sometimes in some areas the usage of fat is too much, too high. In some areas it is moderate, in some areas it is less. But definitely in all the kind of recipes, fat is an essential component. Either you cook or you use it in any shape, saute or cook, or you baking something, but fat is always a component of the cooking procedure. Sometimes, and definitely when we are frying something, it is always fat. Fat is a part of meats where the meats have the fat within them, and fat can be obtained from some secretions of the animal like butter. Like fat is present in milk, it comes in yogurts and butter oil, are mostly the skins of fish and the skin of the chicken. They are fatty. So there are different sources of animal, and we are using fats in all the means. So they are classified in different types, and we will discuss one by one. First of all, let's talk about omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3 fatty acids, they are three different types, and they are useful in many ways. Particularly, they can decrease the amount of inflammation everywhere in the body. So the first one, which is typically obtained from vegetable sources, is the ALA, alpha lipoic acid. That is always coming from the vegetable sources, and it is quite anti-inflammatory. So people who are vegetarian or vegan, they can get good amount of ALA from their foods, from their diet. The other one is EPA, that is eicosapentaenoic acid. So this eicosapentaenoic acid is always coming from the seafoods. It is coming from fish. It is anti-inflammatory, and it is needed for neurotransmission in our brains. All the transmissions in the brain cells, interneurons, it is carried, or it is needed that EPA should be there. Now this is particularly coming from fish. It is not coming from any plant source. Yes, EPA and DHA, they are present in the algae, which are the plants and found in water and sea. Fish eat those plants, and they make EPA and DHA type of omega fatty acids, and we get them from fish or fish oil. Because if vegans want to eat the algae, they have to consume a lot of algae to get a small dose of those omega-3 fatty acids. Then comes the DHA, docosahexaenoic acid, which is necessary for the structure and stability of membrane. So it is utilized in the formation of structure of the cell membrane and the stability of cell membrane. So a combo of all these three fatty acids, ALA, EPA, and DHA, is necessary for a normal neurotransmission functions, for brain functions, for memory, and also to reduce the inflammation. So we should not forget to consume seafood, particularly fish, and the fish which is not farm raised but a wild caught fish. Small fishes, sardines, or herrings, they have a large amount of omega-3. Salmon do carry a lot of omega-3, but remember that this omega-3 fatty acids, they are present in the skin of those fish. So one should always cook the fish with skin and eat it with skin. Do not remove the skin. Then comes the next. So I will say vegans are in trouble. If they do not take the fish oil, then they are in trouble and they will not get these two types of fatty acids, the EPA and DHA. Then comes the monounsaturated fatty acids. Monounsaturated fatty acids are the fatty acids where there is one place is unsaturated and they can have a chemical reaction with others. So oleic acid is an example of a monounsaturated fatty acid. Oleic acid is present in olive oil. That's why everybody is using extra virgin olive oil, cold pressed olive oil, different forms of olive oils to get oleic acid. It's a good source of fat and it is very much anti-inflammatory, and in one specific way it boosts the total metabolism of the body and boosts the metabolism of the fats within the liver. But the bad thing about olive oil is that it has a very low smoke point. So at a very low smoke point means that if you cook olive oil, it will be converted into trans fats. So you cannot cook it. You can sprinkle olive oil on different type of salads, or you can add as a raw, or you can just drink olive oil as raw, and that's good for health. And I will say that then comes the polyunsaturated fatty acids. The polyunsaturated fatty acids, they are good in the sense that they are good for inflammation. But if polyunsaturated fatty acids, they cause inflammation. So a little inflammation is good for health, but if we are consuming more polyunsaturated fatty acids, then they are not good for us. So saturated fatty acids, that is the next on our list. Saturated fatty acid is coming from the animal sources. So animal meats have saturated fatty acids, and animal products like milk and butter, that have saturated fatty acids. So they are even chain fatty acids and odd chain fatty acids. The even chain fatty acids, they are in the meats, and odd chains, they are in the dairy. So odd chain fatty acids, they are good for inflammation, and they remove inflammation. They are anti-inflammatory. Then the next comes the medium chain triglycerides, which are MCT oils. They are in coconut oil, and they are very popular in among the people using them for keto diet, ketosis, because they are immediately absorbed, and after they are ingested, they are immediately taken to the liver, and the liver uses them to form ketones. But the bad thing is that they should not be used with the other saturated fats. If they are used with saturated fats, then they will cause a fatty liver. Next comes omega-6 fatty acids. They are found in seed oils. and they are pro-inflammatory. Pro-inflammatory. These are precursors of linoleic acid, which is pro-inflammatory, and we need some of them to get some inflammation, which is good. But more omega-6 will cause chronic inflammation. So here comes the problem that for the previous 50-60 years, American Diabetic Association, American Heart Association, they were recommending all the time to use vegetable oils. Now it has been concluded in many studies that vegetable oils are inflammatory and they are not good for health. Now again, the recommendations for saturated fatty acids, saturated fats in shape of butter and butter oil, they are in popularity and they are in process. So how much omega-3 and how much omega-6 should be used? There should be a ratio of 1:4. So 1 milliliter of omega-3 for every 4 milliliters of omega-6. So that should be the ratio. If that is the ratio, then the chances are that you will not get inflammation. But if the ratio is disturbed and you are using more, normally now the standard American diet is using almost 1:15 or 1:20 omega-6 to omega-3, which is very dangerous, and that's why we are getting a lot of cardiovascular problems, a lot of problems of chronic inflammation. Trans fats, they cannot be digested, and they cannot be taken up are digested by the gut bacteria, and they cannot be used by mitochondria, and they will sit inside and they will cause inflammation. So trans fats are the fats when the hydrogenation of the vegetable oils is used and they are converted into trans fats. There are two types of fats, cis fats and trans fats. Cis fats are good, but trans fats are not good. So why the trans fats were used popularly in different products? Because with the trans fats, as the bacteria cannot digest them, so the shelf life of the food prepared in different factories, that was increased, and they were stable for shelf. So that's why all the food manufacturers, they were using trans fats, the vanaspati ghee, as a part of their product, so that their products can live long on the shelf and the business can be good. But definitely it is poison, it is not good for health. So I hope you enjoyed the video and it would be quite informative. You will like it. Please subscribe, share the channel and share the video. Thank you very much.